Gentlemen, excellent to be back with you on MGTOW Money. Today's topic, what's your financial IQ? Before we get to that, thanks to the ongoing support from the Patreon investors in this channel, as well as thank you guys who bought me a cup of coffee via PayPal and Bitcoin on the last video. Also, heads up, Patreon supporters, I did respond. Check your emails. I did respond to some of your questions. I've been on the road of the past 10 days or so. I'll have more to say about that in just a second. But check your email, and I did respond to your questions, Patreon supporters. And a quick aside before I get into today's topic about determining your financial IQ, a follow-up from the last video where I was talking about escape from America. Coincidentally, 2 days ago, literally, I was in an airport in a foreign country in the checkout line. I started speaking to an American who was in the checkout line, had a really great conversation, lasted a couple hours as we were waiting for our flight, etc. Anyway, the point being, when one of the questions I asked this man is, he's teaching me a lot, I said to him, quote unquote, "Hey, what do you miss about America?" Without hesitation, without thinking, this man responded, "Nothing," quote unquote. Men, if nothing else, you might just want to go back and listen to that last video I did about escape from America and why I think this will be an increasing trend, in particular, not just for Americans, but men throughout the Western world. All right, how are you going to determine your financial IQ? You know, I get the impression, reading some of the comments here, that some of you think that you're freaking geniuses, that you've got some sort of high-level IQ, etc., even though you're sitting in your mom's basement in your underpants, pounding away on your keyboard and probably pounding away on something else. But the point is that understanding your personal finance and understanding how to handle your money is absolutely critical. And I'm going to have more to say about general IQ ideas and these quote-unquote correlations between IQ and success in the future, because I've shifted my opinion on this over the past several months recently, and I think this is an important topic. However, I've got a quiz today. Yes, men, get ready. I've got a quiz today. I have a 4 very short question quiz today. Multiple choice. Listen up. Here goes. Interest accumulation. That's going to be the first topic. Suppose you had $100 in a savings account and the interest rate was 2% per year. After 5 years, how much do you think you would have in the account if you left the money to grow? There you go. A, more than $102. B, exactly $102. C, less than $102. D, I'm not sure. Number 2, what are the effects of payment behavior on credit cost? Let's make the assumption the following individuals have the same credit card with the same interest rate with the same balance. Which person is going to pay the most interest on their credit card purchases over time? Joe, who makes the minimum payment on his credit card bill every month. Jane, who pays the balance on her credit card in full every month. Joyce, who sometimes pays the minimum, sometimes pays less than the minimum, missed one payment, and she's getting along on her credit card. Or D, all of them are going to pay exactly the same amount of interest over time. Or D, I'm not really sure. 3, the impact of repayment term on the cost of credit. All right, guys, imagine this. You got 2 options when it comes back to paying a loan. Both come with the same interest rate, provided you have the needed funds. So you've got the money available. Which option would you select to minimize your total cost of the loan, i.e. all your payments, all the interest, etc.? How can you get this loan the cheapest? Option 1, A. Option 1 allows you to take 10 years to pay back the loan. Option 2 allows you to take 20 years to pay back the loan. C is both options have the same out-of-pocket cost over the life of the loan, so it doesn't make any difference. D, I'm not really sure. Question 4, interest rate terminology. Which of the following best defines the term interest capitalization. So which of these choices best defines this term, interest capitalization? Option A, the type of interest charged on high balance loans. Option B, the addition of unpaid interest to the principal of a loan. Or option C, interest that is charged when you postpone payments on your loan. Or D, I'm not really sure. All right, men, you've had it. It's 4 simple questions. These are relatively basics. And oh, by the way, this survey was done in front of hundreds of American college students, actually had recently graduated colleges, and all the way up to age 29. So I know that many of you have a quote-unquote high financial IQ, or at least assume that you do. So go through the questions real quickly, and how did you do? Because I'm about to, get ready, men, I'm about to give you the answers. So I hope you'll stop this for just a second, answer the questions, and now I'm going to give you the answers. Answer 1 on interest accumulation. Remember I was talking about, suppose you had $100 in the bank account, it's earning 2% a year, and you've had the money there for 5 years. Men, if you have $100 in an account and it's earning 2% a year, after 1 year you will have $102. And after 2 years, you will have more than $102. And after 5 years at 2%, you will have significantly, relatively speaking, significantly more than $102. In other words, you will, in this particular case, the option is A. You will have more than $102. 2. On the effects of payment behavior on credit cards. Men, I've emphasized this repeatedly. One of the very first videos I did about using credit cards is always pay off the balance in full. I cannot emphasize that enough. Do not pay any interest on your credit cards. Period. End of story. If you can't pay the balance in full, then don't buy it. You can use credit cards to your advantage. But in this particular case, the correct answer is B, Jane. Jane pays the balance of her credit card every single month, and therefore it will be paying less money overall on the credit balance. Again, I cannot emphasize enough, always pay your credit cards in full. If you can't afford to do so, then put them away. Forget about them for a while. All right, 3, the impact of repayment on the cost of a loan. Men, again, I can't emphasize enough. When you're paying back a loan, ideally, you want to pay it back as quickly as possible. So, for example, if I have a 5-year loan at 5%, I want to get it paid back the first month. Okay, well, I can't pay it back the first month. Okay, the second month, the third month, the fourth month. The point is, let me give you in simple terms. Whenever you got a loan, you want to pay it off as soon as possible. As soon as possible. The only extreme case that you might not want to do so is if you had a 0% loan, which are unusual. The point being is that you want to minimize, you want to pay as little interest in as possible whenever you have a loan, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, because therefore you can reduce your cost. The bottom line is the answer on this particular one is A. Option 1 allows you to pay back the loan in 10 years. That's going to cost you less money overall. All right, D, on the question of interest capitalization. This is not a term that's widely used. And frankly, I had to think about this one. This was not something intuitively. This is certainly not something that I ever picked up in school, to be honest with you. I had to think about this a little bit. The answer is, when we talk about interest capitalization, we're talking about the total amount of the loan. We're talking about answer B, option B, which is the addition of unpaid interest to the principal of a loan. That's what we're talking about when we discuss interest capitalization. All right, men, quickly add up your scores. There was only 4 questions. How many did you miss? Well, to give you some idea of how smart, or frankly, some of you might be struggling a little bit, how other people did, and bear in mind, again, hundreds of American college graduate students going all the way up to age 29 took this quiz. You know what? Most of them missed at least one question. Most of them missed at least one question. So point number 1, don't feel bad. Most people don't get this information from anywhere. You probably didn't get this information from school, unfortunately. 2, you're in a great place by listening to this channel, by picking up books like by Dave Ramsey, by Robert Kiyosaki, by just picking up basic personal financial books, etc. Those can help you. You can learn this stuff. I can promise you, this is not rocket science. You do not need some general high IQ to be an extremely successful person. And again, I'm going to be talking about this in the near future, in future videos, because this is something that's been percolating in my mind for a while about this idea, well, you've got to be very smart to be very successful. I could tell you that is absolutely wrong. All right, 3, never forget, men, you can do things with your life and make it very successful by just getting a few basics right. I've discussed this in the past. I can't emphasize that enough. Go back and listen to my prior videos, for example, about just get 3 things right in your life. There's 3 fundamental things you need to get in your life to have a rich life. All right, let me finish by saying, men, I hope you found this educational because you can move forward with your life. You are not stuck. Again, I've been on the road for a while and I encounter a lot of guys and whatever. And frankly, I've been encountering a lot of guys who are in their 60s and 70s and they're probably not very happy with where they've ended up. This does not have to be you. You're a young man, 25, 30, you're getting your life going. If you can just get a few basics down, if you can get your financial IQ up to a fairly high level, which frankly is very easily to do, you can have a great life and get the FU money you deserve. Gentlemen, as always, hit the like button if you found this useful. John Galt out.